Hey, have you ever done an activity when you was a child that you loved, and as you got older, you realized you was able to continue that activity and actually earn an income? Well, we're going to talk about that when we get back. I'm CLM II for With Power, the channel that helps find the power in you.
He's giving me power, all power, all power.
Hey, happy Monday, everybody, and we hope you guys had a fantastic Thanksgiving. I can tell you I had a great Thanksgiving once again. There's nothing like having Thanksgiving with the family, and we had a great time as usual. As the family continues to grow, we have another baby on the way in the family. My nephew's about to have his second child, so this is fantastic, and that's what it's all about. You know, Thanksgiving, friends, family, and it's all about giving back. But what I say to all of you out there, don't forget to give to yourself. You must take care of yourself first before you can give to others. So after Thanksgiving, Friday was Black Friday, and didn't go out on Black Friday, but I did go out on Saturday and went and bought me a hat. As you can see, I went and bought this mustard yellow hat. Y'all have seen me probably before in mustard yellow with my scarf and maybe with my other hat, but I like this hat. So tell me what you think. You think it looks nice? I like it. It's a great hat. But that just means that you got to take care of yourself. Self-care is very important, especially that we're in this pandemic and we're hearing about there's another outbreak that's coming. We must take care of ourselves. And as some of you may know, if you don't know, tomorrow is Tuesday. Giving Tuesday is tomorrow. So that's the time where people will be giving to their favorite charities and giving to their favorite organizations. And I know I'll be doing something on my job. They're going to have me on a panel about giving. I know my team, my organization, my colleagues, we always do something every year for Giving Tuesday, and we raise a lot of money tomorrow. But that's on my 9-to-5 job. So, have you ever done something in childhood that you loved, and as you got older, you realized that you can continue to do that and actually earn an income, actually start your own business? Well, I have a treat for you today. I actually was able to corner my brother-in-law and ask him for an interview because he has taken something that he's been doing since childhood and he has earned an income from it for the last 30 years. He's earned income. And he's going to tell you a little bit about his story and what he has done, because there may be someone out there who wants to do the same thing. And he'll be able to give you some tips on what he has done. So let's get right into the interview. Let's take a look. Hey, so listen, I happen to have with me a guest that I've been knowing for a very, very long time. We've known for over 30 years. This gentleman was the person who introduced me into the world of tennis, and he has built his business in the world of tennis. And I had to collar him at Thanksgiving dinner because not only is he a good friend of mine, but he's also my brother-in-law for 30 years. So listen, man, I'd like to introduce to you guys Mr. Todd Maston. What's up, Todd?
What's up? How you doing?
All right, man. Yo, so listen, man, I want to thank you for doing this interview at the last minute. I know I collared you while you was eating your turkey.
Thanksgiving turkey.
But I'm happy that you're doing this so as you know, I'm doing this series on starting your own business, and you've been doing your own business for a long time. So let's take them back, to the beginning.
Right.
Because we both are kids from Harlem. Now, but, we didn't know anybody that was playing tennis. How did you even get into playing tennis, man?
Well, I got into tennis from playing at Fred Johnson Park. They have tennis courts there.
Okay.
So I used to live right there in Harlem River Houses, the
Right.
project.
Right.
So I used to live in McComb's side, which is the other side, closer to 8th Avenue. But then we moved to the 7th Avenue side. We needed a 3-bedroom. We needed more space. So once we moved there, I used to look out the window and see it was tennis courts. So I started getting curious. You know, young kid, you go out there like, yeah, let me check this out. So when I got out there, I met 3 individuals that changed my life: Fred Crawford, Puggy Bell, and Lois James. They gave me my first tennis racket. Right. So I went on the wall. There was a wall in the back. I ain't know nothing about tennis. I took this wood racket, plastic strings. The racket was red, white, and blue.
Right, okay.
A red, white, and blue wooden racket. I used to hit it on the tennis court with that racket every day till the racket just broke, just cracked. And I was like, oh, I can give me a tennis racket. So I went on, I got to get a tennis racket. I know a tennis racket. So that started. Ever since then, started playing tennis every day, 24/7.
Wow. And you was how old?
I was at the time
He
10.
was 10 years old.
Yeah.
And then you said you guys transferred
From Fred Johnson Park to the Armory. It's because, the winter came, and I was asking everybody, well, where y'all go after everybody stopped playing tennis? I was like lost, like nobody gonna be out here. So no, we play tennis down the Armory. The older people at the court start telling me, come down, we play tennis at the Armory. They have a junior program.
Okay.
So the junior program, I went back, after playing a while, take a few lessons, I went down to the Armory and I tried out for the program.
Okay.
I got into the program there at the Armory, and that was it. Played at the Armory every day.
You didn't even know what the Armory was.
I didn't know what the Armory was. I used to think the Armory was where the soldiers was.
Right,
I didn't think there was no tennis, sports, or anything in there.
Right.
But then when I went inside, I see this big place. I mean, like curtains, big steel door. Was a big steel door.
Right.
Slide the door back. And I'm like, wow, it's like tennis court. It's like, it's a tennis court there. And then they was running track in there, PL. Right. Had real track meets, not like, real track meets. Like, I'm like, wow, so it was amazing to see that. So that's what it was. It was like home, school, Armory every day.
Wow.
Wake up, go to school.
Who was your tennis teacher back then?
My tennis teacher back then was Sidney Llewellyn.
Okay.
Gave me my first tennis lesson. He used to teach me at the Jungle, Fred Johnson, court number 5. That was his court.
That was his court?
Yeah, he had a permit for that court. Nobody could hit on that court because he had his lessons on that court. Wow, okay. If you was on that court, he'd come out there every day and chase you up. You got to come up that court. That's my court.
Now, you love tennis.
Yeah, I loved it.
You did that through elementary, junior high,
high school, then college.
So what happened in high school?
High school, they had a tennis team in high school, and I was the tennis team. We had players on it, but I was like the only person that was like taking tennis serious, like lessons and all that. Right. So I was the only player on the tennis team. So I would wear my match. Charles Evan Hughes.
Charles Evan Hughes in New York, right?
New York, yeah. Okay. So back in those days, everything was basketball.
Right.
Everything was basketball. So Charles Evan Hughes had a great basketball team. Right. Now Steve Burton, all of them played for the team there back then. Right. But tennis, tennis. So, back in the day, I'm on the train with my tennis rackets. People looking at me like I'm crazy. Black kid with tennis rackets? Where's your basketball?
And this is like the late 70s.
Late 70s.
Right. Okay.
When I got my scholarship to college, when I first hit Morgan State, I hit the campus. I hit the campus. I'm scholarship. Man, I get free meals. I get everything. I just show my ID. So, all the athletes eat together. Right, football team, basketball team, everybody eat together. So everybody was like, you here for football? Because I was always a stocky guy. I was like, nah, I'm here for the tennis team. I'm like, tennis? You here for football? That's funny. Nah, I'm here for tennis. That's true. HBCU. So tennis wasn't that popular for the black community. Right. Because it wasn't blacks that had good blacks. So you had to really play to really start seeing other black people that really can play. Okay. Because that was the main thing. People didn't realize that blacks really play. Like not like playing around, really can play. Right. So when people start, the Arthur Ashe.
Even though at that time we had Arthur Ashe and we had Althea Gibson was the
team. Yeah, but what was so funny is that Althea Gibson grew up right across the street from the Armory, 143rd.
Oh, did she grow up?
Yeah, right there. And Althea Gibson was good, but I'm just saying, it's just that the black community in Harlem didn't embrace during that time because blacks wasn't really allowed to play on the circuit back then. Right. So
and I heard you say that when you was in high school, when you went and played those bigger schools.
Yeah, big schools. Yeah, but those kids, that it was always they all came down to gentrification. Okay. What you're exposed to, income. So when the better kids went to Bronx Science, Stuyvesant, Brooklyn Tech, the school, they was taking lessons, at the Port Washingtons. Right. Okay. They was going away to the Nick Bollettieri, so they was doing the real, the real black kids wasn't doing that,
So it was just you.
It was just me. I'm the one in tennis.
All right, so you go to Morgan State for 1 year, and you said you lost your scholarship.
We lost scholarship because during that time is when the Title IX came out. Right. Like all the colleges had to carry a certain amount of women teams, a certain amount of men teams. So schools would get grants, would get funding. Right. Mm-hmm. So the AD and the football coach during that time, they was taking the money and putting it all into the basketball and the football program. It was giving the money to the other programs. So they got in trouble. It was a big scandal. Wow. AD and the football coach, they got fired and arrested because they were stealing the money. So then that caused them to have to cut programs out. So that, of course, schools that wasn't generating revenue, they had to eliminate those programs.
All right, so
I
you
gotta
come
go.
home from college now, so you 19-year-old
Yeah,
kid.
no, come on,
You
guys.
still love tennis.
Still love it. So still playing. I'm playing tennis. I'm playing tournaments. I'm playing every day. I'm doing everything. And then after I was playing, after I started, I said, well, you know what? Since I'm playing, nothing else to do. I started teaching tennis.
Okay,
Start working teaching tennis.
At the Armory.
No, not at the Armory. First, I started with the Parks Department.
Okay. So
The New York City Department of Parks.
How does that work when you
in the summer?
You get a permit from?
No, you apply for it.
you apply.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then you get the job, just like a summer job. You
Okay.
call,
Right.
and then they issue you a site.
Okay.
So they give you all these rackets. You got like 14, 20 rackets. So I think my site. I had the jungle was site, and then I had the courts on the West Side Highway, 96th Street. There's tennis courts over there. They red clay courts now.
Yeah.
So I had that site. So in the mornings I was there, and in the afternoon I was at Fred Johnson. So you go to two different sites. You get free lessons to the kids.
Okay.
So that was my first start of teaching tennis.
Nice.
Yeah. So after
Now,
that,
did you go back to the Armory?
then I went back to the Army. Then after just playing the Army, then I started teaching at the Army. I became one of the instructors at the Army.
Okay.
So I was teaching there for a while, and then I relocated to New Jersey.
Right.
And when I came out to New Jersey, and I was just teaching on my own.
Okay, so
doing all the parks out here and the clubs over here.
When you worked at the Armory, were you an independent contractor? Or
No, I was working for the Armory.
So you had to actually be working for them.
Get paycheck. Yeah, I was working for the Armory.
You didn't become independent until you actually
came out to New Jersey, and I started working on my own.
Okay.
So I was working at all the clubs here, Tenafly, Washington Township, Maywood, Fort Lee, just going around all the clubs teaching lessons.
Now, how does that actually work? When you want to start your business, you come out to Jersey. Did you know these clubs before you came to Jersey? Were you already visiting them from New York?
Well, New York, the only club I was visiting from New York when I first came out was Pagoda Racket Club. I started in Fort Lee. I was still living in New York. I was familiar with those two clubs because they used to give tennis parties out there. So we should come over and play in the tennis party. So my first actual teaching indoor club was working for the club was Binghamton Racket Club.
Okay.
I was familiar from Binghamton Racket Club because the boat over there used to have the restaurant.
Okay.
So my first time coming over there, Claude Gargill, who owned the Armory, he brought us over here. He used to take us to the restaurant at the boat.
Okay.
So that's how I got familiar with Binghamton. And then Binghamton Racket Club, I got familiar from that. And then my first time going to Binghamton Racket, I played tournaments in Binghamton Racket. ETA, USTA tournaments.
Okay.
And then I played the Orange Bowl in there. Easter Bowl. The Easter Bowl at Binghamton Racket Club.
Okay.
That was one of the big major tournaments in the USTA where kids come from all over.
Right.
So it was the Easter Bowl. It was a nice tournament. So that's when I first exposed to Binghamton Racket Club, and then playing tournaments. And then when I came back over here and I started teaching, I just went in the club and I got hired by the clubs to teach in various clubs.
So so did you already build up a reputation? People knew you when
people
you
knew you. Yeah.
Okay,
so people knew from playing. They playing. Right.
So basically, that's how it works. You kind of play,
get to know people, and then people see you can play, and then after a while, it's like a networking thing. You get to know. I say, the club need a pro and need somebody to teach, and so you come to the club and you just apply, and then next thing you know, you're teaching at the club.
Okay. Now, when you apply for the club. The club pro, I guess they call you.
Your club, pro, yeah.
They already have a set budget to give you, or do you name your own price?
No, they have a set budget of what they pay. You have to decide if you want to accept it.
Okay.
But then you all can negotiate for more money.
Okay.
Depending on how you teach. And once they see if you teach well, or you can bring your own clients in. Most clubs if you have some clientele, you have some lessons you can bring in. And that will help the club. Then that's how you can generate more money for yourself.
Okay.
You can ask for more money for us pay. Because
so it's like a win-win.
Win-win, yeah. You bring clients, yeah.
You use our court.
Right, use our court. So it's like right.
All right, so that's good.
Because I'm booking courts from y'all to teach my lessons. So I'm bringing y'all revenue. So yeah.
Now I remember for years I used to hear you say that you used to string rackets. So what is string racket?
String rackets is like rackets is when the strings pop.
Right.
So, because when I used to teach a lot, because I'm logging a lot of hours on the court.
Okay.
I'm on the court. I'm teaching in a couple of clubs. I'm teaching outdoors. So I'm popping rackets.
Right.
I'm popping strings. So I was like, man, popping strings. And that time is money. Right. Teaching time is money. So I don't have time to be, now I got to go find somewhere to string my racket. I got to drop it off. I got to wait till when they can get it back to me. So I said, you know what? I got to get it. I got to learn how to string for myself.
Okay.
That's what started. I learned how to string. I got my first stringer. I bought a stringing machine and started stringing my first racket. I learned how to string. I had people help me, just watching other people string. And I learned how to string, and that was it. And I started stringing, and I realized people are going to need people to string their rackets. So I'm right there. Clients pop their racket. I can string for you. I could bring it back. If you want it back the next day, 2 days, you want it back the next time we come do a lesson, I have your racket for you. So that's what started it.
Wow. Okay.
Now,
how much is that? How much do you charge people to string rackets?
Well, it depends on what type of string you want.
Okay.
Most strings varies from anywhere from $25 to $35 a racket. String a racket. Okay. The strings. Okay. If you want a better string, the most expensive string is gut. That's about $60, $70 to string that. But gut is so expensive. I try to recommend to people, that's the best playing string. But if you ain't playing at that level, if you're not playing like pro level where you're getting your strings free, you're getting sponsored, don't use gut because it don't last. It feels good, but you might get a couple of sets out of it and then it pops. And then, you got to keep kicking out that $70, $60 to restring it. That's a lot. That's expensive. So,
the tennis world that you come from, these people got money.
They got money. Yeah, they got money. They can afford it, but you'd be surprised. People that have money sometimes the cheapest. They don't want to spend all that money to string a racket.
That's true.
So now they have other strings that does cost as much that could give you the same type of play. Okay. Not as good as gut, but you'll get some good play out the racket, and it'll last a little longer. Okay. And then the new technology came out, the polyester strings. That's what everybody was using now. The polyesters. When they came out with the polyester, Nadal and all of them started the polyester string. James Blake used to play with the polyester string. It's almost like a wire. I call it like a wire because it's hard to break. Okay. But also they found that later on when I was playing with it, it started causing injuries because the wrists, these guys is trying to hit the ball so hard, and then the strings is not. It's no give. No give. It's a give, but it takes a while. Okay. So these guys is pounding and pounding the ball, and it's wear and tear on your wrists and your shoulder.
Through your tennis love or your love of tennis, you kind of created 3 businesses. Or what I just heard. Yeah, teaching lessons, stringing rackets. And coaching. Okay.
Yeah, because I was the assistant coach at FDU.
That's right. You sure was.
Yeah, you sure was. Coach at FDU, Fairleigh Dickinson. I did that for about 2 years. Okay. FDU as assistant. Ira Miller was the head coach. Okay. And I was the assistant coach. So that I had a blast with that.
A good time.
Travel and went to Florida for the big championship.
Right.
So that was good.
Now it's I've always kind of admired you from afar because. When you came home, you got the job with MTA. Right. You was MTA for 30 years. 32 years. You just retired. That's right. But throughout all those years, you always had the side hustle going.
Yeah, all that time I was teaching tennis. So I had 3 jobs. Yeah. Teaching tennis, coaching at FDU, and stringing rackets. I was busy.
No, that's great, man.
So I was from the bus to the courts to the bus.
and now you just do your tennis stuff.
Now I just do my tennis stuff.
That's great. Yeah. So. That's it, man. Thanks a lot. So that's what I've been preaching to all you out there. You should definitely try to get yourself a side hustle. As you can see, my brother-in-law has been doing the side hustle, but he did the side hustle in something that he loved to do.
And also, one more thing.
Yeah, what?
Coming soon, 2022. Look out for the documentary.
He did announce it. See, he wasn't going to announce it, so he announced it.
Documentary
so that's
coming.
Good. So let me ask you a question. If anybody wants to contact you to take lessons, what should they do? You have a
email.
Okay, so just give me your email. All right, so that's good.
Email.
Okay, so I'm going to make sure that this email is going to be shown in the description and also on the video. And if you out there want to take lessons, call my brother-in-law. He's been doing it for a long time and he's really good. So, thanks a lot, man. I appreciate this. And look out for the documentary.
That's right.
All right, we out. Well, there you have it. That's the story of my brother-in-law. Great guy, funny guy. Actually, we have Thanksgiving at his home almost every year. Him and my sister, they know how to throw a Thanksgiving, and we may have Christmas there at his house. But it's fantastic. But that's his story. And if you want to get in contact with him, remember you can email him. And if you're into tennis and you want to learn tennis, he's a great instructor. He's a pro, so he's been doing this for a very long time. he didn't mention it, but some of you may know James Blake. James Blake was a star on the tennis circuit, and James Blake was one of his pupils when he was younger. And I remember seeing James Blake as a young man, him and his brother. He has a brother also who plays tennis. I remember seeing them, and James Blake went on to a great career on the pro circuit in tennis. So you want to learn how to play tennis? Definitely my brother-in-law can teach you. He's a great individual, and definitely just email him and he'll help you with that. There you have it. That is our show for this week. Remember, I got the book, free ebook. You can get it at my website. Go right to my website, cliffordlmarshall.com. Download the free ebook, 21 businesses, 21 money-making businesses that you can start right now in 2021 and beyond. Because you know the new year is coming very soon. 1 month, you'll be in the new year. And you need to start thinking now what you want to do to earn income in the new year. You may have a childhood hobby that you've done years ago, you always loved, and you kind of just left it alone. And come to find out today, you probably can earn some type of income doing that childhood hobby. So I hope this interview inspired you. I hope my book will be able to inspire you. And I hope all of you guys have a fantastic, fantastic holiday. Great time to be alive. Be safe out there. And you know, as I always say, I will see you next time.